Happy Thursday, everybody. Today was actually less stressful than I expected it to be, so that's a great thing. And so, in the realm of that, I wanted to touch on the difference between working for money and working for happiness, and how that can change your perspective or your your incentive to work. Um, and it does. Um, okay, so I'll start it off by saying this. Today, I orchestrated a workshop, and I do this once a month or more than once a month, depending on the schedule at my job. And so, what happens is, I pretty much put the entire thing together by myself. It's a skill I didn't know I had until I started this job. Um, and that's the truth. I knew I had the capacity to do it, but I didn't know that I could actually successfully do it. So what happens is this. I'm told, hey, we're going to have a workshop, or we're considering having a workshop on this topic, this criteria, for this date and time. So it starts from the beginning. I have to book the room for the workshop. I have to schedule that. I have to keep in contact with the events office so that, there's no discrepancies as far as if we have that room for that time or not. I have to then put the flyer for that event together. I have to create it my own based on the information that's given to me for the event. And then I have to put it on social media. I have to put it on Eventbrite. I have to, I do newsletters. So each month I do a new newsletter, and it tells the clients, the public, partners of the events that we have coming up. So I put that all together. If there's anything that's like, special or out of the norm, I make a whole section for that special event, so that people can look at that first and then go down the line. And then what else do? I do so many things. So then, when the event is coming up, I have to make sure that the attendance sheets are there, the flyers for the coming events are there, the evaluation forms, which I created also, are there. What else? Oh, because of who I am and what I am and how I am, I make sure that I put the flyer on the office door so that if anybody comes to the office instead of the location of the event, which happens frequently, I highlight where everything is. I highlight, okay, if they're like, because I like to try and think of the worst case scenario so I'm prepared, but in the best way. So I'm like, okay, if somebody comes to the office, instead of going to the location of the event because they didn't register online prior to, they might have just decided to walk in. So if they decided to walk in, they're not going to know where the location of the event is unless they have it printed out or whatever. So I put the flyer on the door for those people who don't know where they're supposed to go. I give one to each security guard for each building, because there's more than one. So I gave the flyer to the security guards, highlighted as well, letting them know, okay, if anyone comes up and asks you about this event, this is what it is. Because there's been numerous times where we'll have clients come in and they'll be like, oh, I asked the security guard where this was and they didn't know. I don't have time for that. So I rather them be prepared while I'm prepared, and we're both prepared and working together. I then go to the workshop. I'm the greeter. So I'm like, hi, did you register online? Oh, I have to print out the online registration attendance sheet, and then I have them sign next to it so that they have proof that they were there. It's not enough to check it because I could check it or anybody can randomly check it. But if they need proof that they were at an event, the easiest way for me to do that is for them to sign next to it, to cover them, myself, and everything else. If they registered online, they find their name on the list, check off, and signature. Some people signature and don't check off. That's fine, because I'll do that. It's okay. Or if they didn't register and they're walking, then I have the attendance sheet for them to sign themselves in, and then give them all of the materials, the flyers, the evaluation forms, and all the stuff that they need. They go sit down, and that's it. So I've been working at this job for almost 2 years. I've been doing this whole process for 2 years. I've made it easier on myself because it doesn't make sense to stress out if you don't have to. After the workshop, because it's not over. Once the workshop is over, then I come back to the office and I have a database set up. So I type in everybody who walked in, everybody that signed in online. All I have to do is find them names, copy and paste them into the Excel spreadsheet, and I'm done. But if they walked in, I have to try to figure out what type of lettering that they have, and hopefully I get it right so that the email is correct and I can send them stuff, i.e. the newsletter, which I enjoy doing, actually. That's fun for me. Doing layouts and figuring out the font colors and the backgrounds and stuff. I love that. So, yeah. Then I have to decipher what lettering they're using, what letters, which words, whatever. Put them in the database. Make copies of everything. The sign-in sheet, the evaluation forms completed. Make copies of that so that just in case they get lost on paper, they're there on the computer. Then I have to put this event into a software and pretty much type in the attendance of the workshop, print that out, make a folder, put everything in there from evaluations, attendance sheets, yes, a lot. Attendance sheets, the flyer that I created for the event itself, or not, depending on what the event is, because some of the people I work with do their own. And put the folder away. Because I'm extra, and I'll admit that I am extra, I actually have created a few things that were not in the mix before I arrived 2 years ago. But I feel because I'm a people person, this is what should happen. So after the workshop is over, if I'm not too overwhelmed, I will send a thank you email. I send it as a, I guess as a newsletter kind of thing. It says, thank you for attending. Be sure to register for the next event. I put the link that I create because I create all the events for every event. So I make sure it's correct, put it in. And then I created a survey so that I can know what, because everybody doesn't want the newsletter for events they don't like. Like, if you're not interested in financial projections or whatever, you don't want that newsletter. You don't want the newsletter that's telling you about events that you don't want to go to, that you're not interested in. So I made a survey to say, hey, let us know what we can do better and or what events you are not interested in so that I don't send this to you. What I need to do is implement. I won't talk about that. Anyway, that's for me to know. So I do all of these things. And that's not even my entire job. That's just the events part. Yeah. So that gave me the idea of speaking on when you work just for a check and when you work because it's something you like to do. Again, I didn't know I was going to be good at all of these things. Actually, I never even thought. Actually, no, that's not true. I wanted to be public relations. I wanted to work in public relations because, again, I'm a people person and I pay attention to patterns and what people seem to come to and what they don't come to, what they don't like, what they do like. And I really do like doing the surveys to know what I am doing right and what we're doing wrong, whatever. So I tried to work for a PR company before, but I don't think I fit the image. So they didn't even call me back. That's fine. God always has a purpose and a plan. So I did want to do PR work very early on. I ended up doing it. God's awesome. If you pray, you will receive. So the thing about it is, I'm doing more than PR work. I'm doing more than marketing. I do a lot of marketing. I even go to the extent of taking pictures if I have the time. I'm not gonna lie. I don't do it all the time because sometimes I'm too frantic. Like today, while the event was going on, I still had to print. I had to create the agenda for the workshop, and it didn't get cleared early enough. So I said, fine, I'm gonna just print it. It looks fine to me. I made sure the names are right to the right people or whatever. And fine, done. But what happens is, it's a game of roulette with these events because you can have 150 people register for that event and only 10 show up. So it's hard to prepare for an event when the amount of people who show up is so odd. Like, there was a few times where it would be 150 people registered, and then due to weather, traffic, parking, maybe they just didn't feel like it that day, only 20 people will show up. And there was 150 signed up. These workshops are free, so you don't lose anything if you don't come. Like, if you don't show up, you don't lose anything because there's no real incentive because you didn't pay for it. There's been things I've paid for and still didn't show up because I just didn't feel like it that day. I just didn't feel like it. So, it's hard to prepare for that type of situation because you really have no idea how many people are going to show up and how many people are not, and therefore trying to have enough material for an imaginary number, it can be difficult. So today was a good turnout, though. I was proud of that, on all sides. So that was good. I was proud of that. And this is what I've accepted. I knew it before, but I've accepted it today. I adore working with people. I adore knowing that I'm providing them with services, with information, with anything that they're requiring within my threshold. I am elated by that process. Just to know, just to see the light bulb go off in someone's head, like, oh wow, I figured it out, or oh, I didn't know that, and they find out information that helps them progress. If I'm in the mix of that, I am the happiest person in the world. I've known that for a long time, but I miss being one-on-one with people like I used to be. Like right now, I'm more of a paper pusher. But even with me being a paper pusher, I'm still able to interact with people every now and then. Some, since I'm an admin now, they just see me as the help and don't pay me no mind. But then there are people who actually talk to me and that I am able to give them information about certain things that they didn't know. So, and I work with entrepreneurs and small business owners. So there's a lot of information out there for that group of people. And myself, I love learning new things. So it's always good to keep your mind open and be open to communication. So I will be honest, if I was doing this strictly for money, I wouldn't be doing it. And the thing about it for me is a lot of the things that I've enforced were optional. I made those choices. Now, unfortunately, the next person that comes, because I set the bar that high, they're going to have to do it. But it's because it's something I love doing. So because it's something I love doing, I don't mind doing the extra work because I don't mind doing the extra work because it's not work to me. It's fun for me. Doing research for people is fun for me because, like I said, I'm able to give them information that they need, and in turn, I learn something new as well, so we both benefit. I love what I have implemented in my job, which is the newsletter, which is the surveys, which is the links, because the long link with all of that gibberish, not with it. So I use Bitly, and it shortens it. It looks cuter and it's easier to type in if you can't just copy and paste. Typing it in isn't that bad. That was not enforced before me. These are things I love to do. Having a database is something I did by myself. I wasn't asked, but it makes life easier for me. It'll make life easier for the next person after me. You see this curl? Do y'all see? I'm hyped. Sorry, distracted by it. Okay, go. Slightly more even looking. Anyway, so these are things that I've enforced because these are things I enjoy doing. I enjoy data entry. I enjoy researching for people. I enjoy making sure that the people are getting the information that they need, and I'm willing to put in that work. I am doing that because it makes me happy. And because it makes me happy and I love doing it, it shows a lot. One of the people that I work with, she's always, and I appreciate her so much, but I think I'm overly humbled sometimes because she's always like, you're doing such a beautiful job. I don't know what was going on before you, but you are doing a great job. And then when she comes to the workshops, she's pretty much bragging about me to everybody that comes. Like, if she and I are in the same space, she'll be like, she did this whole thing. She orchestrated this whole thing. She's a great worker. This is so wonderful. And I'm just sitting there. I'm like, thank you. Can I hide now? Can I hide now? But I appreciate her so much. And every time she comes, we have to have a selfie. Every event, she has to have a selfie with me. And I feel so good about it because it's like, wow, you know? Like, you have so many pictures with me and you're still wanting more of it. It's like, okay. So now I know automatically when I see her, right, let me make sure I look some type of cute because I know she's going to come talking about, let's have a selfie. I think I worked it out today. But yeah. So I love that. I love that aspect of my job. There's parts I won't talk about. Those are the parts where I would definitely need more money. I need more money for those parts. Mm-hmm. I don't get paid enough for those parts. The parts I don't like, I don't get paid enough. I don't. And it makes me miserable. And I realize that for me, maybe it's different for everyone, but in my lifetime, if I'm doing something for money, more than likely I'm unhappy with what it is. But I know that the money is worth it because I need to survive. I have to have money to survive. Being me ain't cheap. So I have to have money to survive. So there are certain aspects of my job that I'm only doing it because I need money. And then there's the parts that I pretty much created for myself that takes away from the parts that I only do because I need money. Those parts make the whole thing worth it because I know that I can orchestrate and I can innovate certain things that will make me happier at this space. And in all my jobs, I did that. But this job is different because my other jobs, I was excited. I didn't care. My love was helping somebody, helping them recognize their truths, recognize their passions. They may have felt like, I don't think I can do this. This will be too hard. Motivating them, elevating them, seeing them succeed, that made me happy. I would do that for free. Absolutely. The parts I didn't like, again, y'all not paying me. That's when the term y'all not paying me enough for this. And guess what? When people say that, what happens? What's usually before that? They are annoyed. They are frustrated. They are aggravated. They don't want to be bothered. They don't want to be there. They want to quit right now. They want to just go on with their life because this is ridiculous. Give me more money and I'll permit myself to be miserable. If you're not giving me more money, I don't want to do this. That's usually what it means. It's not okay. But we all need to survive. So if you're in a situation like that where you're in a job where it sucks a lot and you feel like you're underpaid because of the nonsense and unnecessary mess you have to handle, like I am, find something within your work that you actually enjoy doing. Even if you have to create it. Maybe you like drawing or something and your job is like, I don't know. The best thing you could do is, and it also depends on where you are. So wherever you work, because everywhere is different, wherever you work, make sure that you find something until you can get another job or whatever. Find something within your job where you would do this for free. It's hard depending on how you work and where you work and your environment. It could be impossible or close to impossible, but I doubt it. Because I feel like in each job, even if you don't like the industry that you're in, you can find yourself in that ministry. Wow. In that industry. You could find yourself in that in that industry. I keep saying the wrong word. Maybe I'm not. I don't know. But yes, you can find yourself in that industry. Was not going to make that mistake again. If you really pay attention to, that's when knowing yourself is important. That's when doing the intrinsic motivation matters. That's when you put those skills in order, and that's when you're able to find out what you're good at. Because if you really despise your job, you're grateful for it, you thank God, you thank whomever or just yourself, I don't know. But if you are grateful to have a job, because that's not something everybody can say right now, especially in this way of the world right now. But if you can tell yourself, thank you, I appreciate having a job, but this part of the job I don't like, The other part of it is find happiness outside of your job, where you can say, you know what, this job sucks, it's terrible, but I know after work I'm going to do this, I'm going to do that. You're going to do something that makes you happy. If you can't find it within your job, like I was able to do because of the way I think, and the fact that I was given the leeway to be creative, because it was going to help retain the clients, which we have a lot of client retention now. And now, since I've been there, when I started, they were telling me each event they only had like 10 people. Since I've been there, the minimum has been 10 people. And I thank God for gifts and talent, because of the way I think about the people, and I'm doing it for the people, and I'm here to serve the people. And therefore, what I'm doing, I have to make sure that they are getting some benefit from my work, so that they can be benefiting and they can be happier and get what they need. So because that's my mindset, I implement things that will make it easier for me to help the people. That's what I do. That's who I am. That's my purpose. That is something I am very proud to say. This is why I'm here, to be of service. Not to get stepped on, not to get played all day, not to be aggravated, but to be of service in a positive environment, or not. Because sometimes you can't pick where you live or where you work or whatever. But I want to be the beacon of light, and I want to be that one person who says, I care about the public, I care about what they need and what they're here for. I'm going to do my best to make sure that they get what they need by any means necessary, using what I have, using the tools I have, using the material I have, using the gifts that I have. I want to make sure that I'm putting that forth, as I spoke about in my last video, legacy. That is what I want, and that's how I work, and it reflects, and I'm grateful that it reflects, because then I have people saying, oh my gosh, you know, that was so great, and I'm overly humbled by that. I don't ever get conceited. Now, don't get it twisted. I know I'm talented. I'm amazing, but I don't take all the credit. God is awesome, and I work the way I work because I care. So I work on the things that I like because it makes me happy. They need to pay me more for the other parts, but the difference is when you do something when you work and it makes you happy, or if you're working to be happy, you put more effort, you're more optimistic, you're more easy to be around. Your attitude is different, it's uplifting to be around you. But if you're working for money only, 9 times out of 10, you're going to be miserable, because you're never going to get enough money. You're never going to get enough money. There's never going to be enough. You're going to always need more. And if that's your incentive, you're always going to need more. But if you're doing something that you make money, if you make good money doing what you love doing, which is a possibility because of the work you put forth, if you combine the two, if you can combine the two, you should. If you can't find a reason to stay where you're at, then make it so that when you leave your job, you do something that can make you happy, and then put more work, put more effort, put more of yourself into that. And then soon enough, someone's going to recognize your awesome work, and they're going to want to pay you for that. People that get paid all of this money, most of them have almost perfected their skills, and they're making money because people see that they care about what they're doing and they put effort into what they're doing. So you can work for money, that's fine, but if you work for happiness, you'll put more effort. People will see that you're trying, and they will be more likely to want to work with you and for you to an extent, especially if you're trying to be an entrepreneur. So please, guys, keep these things in mind when you're thinking about, what do I want to do next? What do I want my next step to be? Think about, because you're already miserable, think about what you could do that's going to make you happy. Apply for jobs that will make you happy. Look at your resume. Look at what you've been doing. And when you realize that what you're doing is not what you want, but what you want you don't necessarily qualify for, that's when you implement your skill of what you want to do into the job that you have, if possible. Because the only way you'll get hired is if you have proven that you have the qualities and the qualifications. If you don't like your job, that's okay, but you should be implementing what you want into the job that you have, so you can put it on your resume and prove that you have X amount of years of this experience. And like I said, I wanted to be in PR before now. I wanted to be in marketing before now, but I couldn't necessarily because I didn't have those skills. I put in the atmosphere. It manifested. I said, this is what I want to do. I have it. Excuse me. I'm grateful for it. And now I'm able to apply to marketing and PR work because I have 2 years of experience in addition to all of the other things that I have. So keep these things in mind. Always put forth your best foot. Always try to find your happiness, your peace, your center. Self-evaluation, self-reflection is important, because then when you go for your next job, if you don't like your job so bad that you want to leave, you don't want to put that same negative energy into the new thing. You want to go in with the idea that I'm going to love this because I'm doing what I love to do. The only way to do that is by applying what you love into your work so that it will reflect in your work ethic. Be well, guys. Thank you for watching. Comment below, subscribe, share. I appreciate the love. I appreciate the reviews. And all I want to do is make sure that my content is motivating, inspiring, and helps you realize that you're amazing people. And I love you. Don't get into some craziness over the weekend because you know you got to go to work, the job that you may not like, but you might like, but you could like. You got to go back there. Be safe, be well.